Oh no, look at her sad. I was, look at her face.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, really?
I'm pushing him off of me.
Oh,
Get off.
wait, really?
He eventually pulls my under.
Why would the Olympic Committee be able to refuse the IBA release the results when the IBA isn't even recognized anymore by the Olympic Committee? What? Why? That doesn't even make any sense. Why the would the IBA even care? They're not even recognized by the Olympic Committee anymore. This all sounds like bullshit. How did this flip so much? Because remember, this was the issue that Hillary ran into before, right? Why did she curve from a racist dog whistle just to be outwardly racist? Wait, what was the purpose of the beginning of this? Like,
every time you see the chick that says like, this famous successful athlete took it without consent. Like, okay.
wait, does he have a Hassan filter? What the fuck is happening here? What?
Athlete took it without consent. Like, okay, they're rich, famous, tall, extremely in shape. And then you look at the girl, you're like, you're not really. If someone was that down bad to take pussy, would it be with you? A whole reputation, career on the line, multi-millionaire. Like, first off, 99% of Western women are gonna give it up. But for the 1% that wouldn't, or the 0.1% that wouldn't, they don't look like you. You're not rapeable, lady.
Basically, his assistant.
Okay, number one, this woman is definitely attractive enough to like 99% of guys. Maybe even top 1% if she made it easy enough, okay? This is a decently attractive person. I don't know where, unless she's like hideous beneath her clothes. So it's really weird that he's like gatekeeping her attractiveness. Sneako would this girl if she came into his DMs, 1,000,000,000,000% without a second thought. Number one, okay? Number two, it's funny, he's asking the same question that I ask, but he's asking it in the exact opposite way. I always ask this question. I don't know why rich people or like influential people rape women, because why the f do you have to? You have so many other people that you could just that you don't have to. I don't know why people do it, but they do. And like we see that over and over again that it happens. So him being like, well, a rich person would never rape somebody because they could other people. Why? Like what?
Sends us an Uber to where we are after the UFC fight and brings us back to the Courtyard Marriott where we were supposed to be waiting for Alex to get back from an interview, I think he said. And then we were going to go out. He was talking.
He doesn't even speak English, right?
Talking about going to strip clubs and like having a fun night while we were all in New Jersey, New York for the weekend. We wait for like 2 hours.
I know you consider being called a communist the same level of threat as being called Hitler, right? No, today? No, I don't think so. I don't think communist necessarily carries the same weight today that it did like 20 years ago. Calling people a commie, like I would say up through the 90s and 2000s was a pretty serious thing. I don't know if it carries like the same weight anymore. I think it's kind of a dead insult. Past like maybe what, 2015 maybe? I don't know. I think they called Obama a communist up until he was out of office, but.
Hours for Alex to come while his friend is on the phone talking about like kids with cancer and big money transfers and things that had to do with Alex. And we were like, hey, it's getting kind of late. Like, is Alex coming? Like, what's the plan? Should we just go back home? Because we're kind of tired. Like, if we're going to have plans, can we like get on with it? Because it's
also think about this. A girl in her late 20s who's selling her body online with a nose ring, single. Why would you think about why would she reject Alex Pereira? I'm not trying to glaze. I know this is not trying to be bumbleclad. Why would she reject Alex Pereira? What is he, 6'7", 2 belts? How many titles? 4? What else are you looking for if not Alex Pereira?
He's so cringe. He's like such a fucking incel. Oh, that's such a cringy. That's such an ick statement. Oh my god. He's tall. He's got money. Like how could any girl ever say no?
It's already getting very late. At this point, I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Alright, I don't even want to hear this witch talk. I ain't gonna lie. Oh no, look at her sad. I was, look at her face.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, really?
I'm pushing him off of me.
Oh,
Get off.
Wait, really?
He eventually pulls my underwear and my pants down to around like halfway on my thighs and I push him off again.
Yeah.
He gets out of bed.
You pushed him off? I know he came from a kickboxing background, but bitch, I'm pretty sure his grappling's better. If he wanted to pin you down, there's no struggle. You're out. You're out.
He starts screaming and putting his sock.
Generally, when you're raping a woman, okay, somebody with a lot of experience, you're not actually like in the events where guys are applying like a lot of pressure to have sex that a woman might not want to have. It's not usually like a full on like I'm full grappling you in MMA, UFC. Like usually it's just like push. So yeah, but most of the time a woman's pushing back full force, you're gonna be like, Like the guy will generally get off, like not get off that way. But I don't think she's trying to claim that, like, yeah, we got into like a legit grappling match and I was able to win the struggle. Like, it's just stupid. Why am I listening to this? Stop linking me Sneako clips.
Clothes on.
Bro, Alex Pereira does not scream. He's never screamed. In every fight. He's the most quiet, stoic.
I'm terrified because I don't know what's happening. My pants are around my legs after I told him no and pushed him off, and he's screaming in another language. Me and my friend are looking at each other.
She doesn't even know the language. In the face-offs, this is Chama.
Okay. People are saying this girl's story is fake anyway. I have no idea. I don't know anything about her story, but that doesn't change any of the things I just said about what Sneako said. So I don't know why you're bringing that up as a counterpoint. Although the thing being linked in chat, I don't know if this would influence anything one way or another. Nice fake allegations. I hope your failed OF career produced enough money for defense lawyers. The money I'm making from all the exposure to my OnlyFans will pay well for them. If you're linking this and you think this is like proof that the allegation is fake, you're probably retarded. But I don't know if her allegations are credible or not. I haven't read anything about them. I have no opinion on them. But can you be a state governor and vice president simultaneously, or is a replacement state governor chosen? I think you typically choose a replacement. I think that's a thing that people consider sometimes because they're like, oh, well, if we take him from this state, is the next person to come up going to be a Republican or a Democrat? I don't know if there's like a law against being one or the other, or like being both at the same time. I'm not sure. But I don't think people ever do it. That'd be pretty interesting though, right? Have a governor who's also vice president. Why don't women like this ever go to the hospital for a rape kit and medical examination to document proof of forcible entry, bruises, semen, etc.? She might have. I don't know if we did or if she did or didn't. I don't know anything about her. But also, remember, okay, people forget this because people hear crazy stuff about like criminal stuff sometimes, okay? Circumstantial evidence, all right, can be used to convict for crimes, which is fine, okay? Circumstantial evidence just means that there are circumstances that you've observed that like a reasonable person can infer like something happened here, basically, right? Remember that rape kit or rape kit, that this is circumstantial evidence of a rape occurring. All a rape kit can tell you basically is that somebody had sex with somebody and there might be like defensive wounds or like evidence of like, you know, some kind of rough entry. But a rape kit on its own doesn't prove rape. Okay, that doesn't work that way. Just remember that. But she might have got one too. You know, who knows? We don't know. Is there any non-circumstantial evidence for rape then? Well, I mean, direct evidence is usually eyewitness testimony or what all is considered direct evidence of a crime? Different types of direct evidence. Confessions and eyewitness accounts are examples of direct evidence. Another example of direct evidence is character evidence. This is evidence that shows how a defendant typically behaves rather than proving that the defendant committed a specific crime. Some examples of direct evidence includes eyewitness testimony and confessions. Eyewitness testimony is the most common form of direct evidence. Direct evidence is evidence that directly links a defendant to a crime. In other words, direct proof is courtroom testimonies, expert opinions, and other kinds of proof that don't require inference to establish a claim. This form of evidence can be used to demonstrate that the defendant was at the scene of the crime, committed the offense, or had the intention to commit the crime. I think it's typically as eyewitness testimony. It's going to be like by far your most common form of. Would camera footage count as direct evidence? Yeah, obviously, if it saw the crime, yeah. The thing that makes like rape so special and difficult from a mens rea point of view is the thing itself is not a crime. It's like the relationship kind of between the two people as the event is occurring, right? Like you're basically, if you punch somebody, you're never going to be able to argue in court that like, well, he wanted me to punch him, right? That just doesn't happen. But for rape, it's a lot more difficult to head down a criminal conviction pathway for that. Even if DNA can be considered circumstantial, if they find semen inside a woman alleging rape, is that direct evidence? Or I believe it's only circumstantial evidence because I don't think you have direct evidence of the crime of rape. You just have evidence that they had sex, but I believe that's only circumstantial, right? Like that would be the same as like, let's say somebody got stabbed at a person's house and you find a person's footprints there from like a unique shoe or something, or like fingerprints or something. That would only still be, I believe, circumstantial evidence, because it's not direct evidence that they committed a crime. It's just the circumstances of that thing show that they were in a place at an area or whatever they could have committed it, like circumstantial. I believe that's the case.
Okay, this is like my 40th time trying to make this video, so I'm gonna try to do it again without crying.
10 minutes. I ain't got time for this bullshit. Don't care. You can have direct evidence of their mens rea. Yeah, but that's going to be really hard. That would be like in the form of them confessing something or somebody like witnessing them saying something. I feel like it'd be pretty hard. Not impossible, but also it doesn't matter because you don't need direct evidence to convict on things. What are the chances that crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the U.S., whose presidency was unconstitutionally stolen from him by Kamala? What does Kamala mean? What is this insult supposed to stand for? Obama? Obabla? Komabla? Komabla? Barack Hussein Obama? Crazy Nancy Pelosi? Why are we spam capsing his Hussein? Crazy Nancy Pelosi, shifty Adam Schiff, crying Chuck Schumer, and others on the lunatic left crashes the Democrat National Convention and tries to take back the nomination. Beginning with challenging me to another debate, he feels that he made a historically tragic mistake by handing over the U.S. presidency, a coup, to the people in the world he most hates, and he wants it back now. Okay, Jesus.
In a test, they had a chance to appeal that to avoid being banned, and they chose not to appeal it. That is so damning.
They chose not to appeal it. He's talking about the fact that the IBA tested both athletes in 2022 and 2023. I believe they appealed the first test, which I don't know how they appeal that and they won if they have XY chromosomes, and they didn't appeal the second test. But the second test that they didn't appeal was by the time the IBA had their membership from the IOC officially withdrawn. So it's not that surprising maybe that they just didn't even bother appealing. Maybe they felt like they weren't going to compete in IBA stuff. I don't know if any competitor leagues have stepped up, but like, would you say that's damning?
And even if it isn't, even if it was all terribly unfair, as Cenk and Wajah would like us...
Like if you tested a simple chromosome test or something in 2022, why did you let them compete the next year? That's a big question that I want the IBA stands, okay, our little Russian Sputniks to answer. If they tested them in 2022, why were they allowed to compete in 2023?
To believe, do another damn test then. Show the world you're actually biological women. And there's a reason they're not doing it.
I thought about this more last night about like, why wouldn't you just do a test? And I think that I haven't gone through all the, believe it or not, I'm not an Olympic athlete. The more I thought about it, I don't know if there's anybody that's competed in anything that does testing. My guess now would actually be if you're an athlete, you probably never submit to a test unless it is demanded by the league, because you're probably setting a really, really, really nasty standard, a really bad standard by doing so. And I wonder if every other athlete would look at you like, the f*** are you doing? Why the f*** would you do this? This isn't demanded of us. Now you're basically you're creating the expectation that are we all going to have to test to be women now because you decided to do it? If the IOC, if the Olympic Committee demands that you test for it, then you test for it. If that's a new regulation rule you follow, then fine. But you don't just randomly submit fucking test results until you've appeased like random haters online. Why would you ever submit yourself to that? The only people that should matter here would be the Olympic Committee. And if you want, you can petition the Olympic Committee to change their rules, to require different testing. But why would you go to the individual athletes? I would be surprised if any individual athlete just like consensually like, oh yeah, just test all my shit, knock yourself out, you know?
Riley.
Absolutely. We see a lot of information being pushed out there that these are just cisgender women with elevated levels of testosterone. The IBA made it very clear.
The IOC allows low-test males to compete in women's sports, though? What? Source?
They did not do testosterone level testing. They never did that, not even one time. We don't know.
Riley.
Absolutely. We see a lot of information being pushed out there that these are just cisgender women with elevated levels of testosterone. The IBA made it very clear. They did not do testosterone level testing. They never did that, not even one time. We don't know what these athletes' testosterone levels are. What they did do was test the karyotypes of
So where can somebody link me a source on that? Besides the one statement that Kremlev made one time, or the one post he made on Telegram, has the IBA ever released this? Is there a thing that I'm missing? Can somebody link me that somewhere?
These athletes, the only requirement was that these athletes had XX chromosomes and they failed the test. No, they haven't come out and explicitly said these athletes have XY chromosomes.
Then why are you saying that?
But that's because the Algerian and Taiwanese Olympic Committee have refused the IBA to release these results.
Why would the Olympic Committee be able to refuse the IBA release the results when the IBA isn't even recognized anymore by the Olympic Committee? What? Why? That doesn't even make any sense. Why the fuck would the IBA even care? They're not even recognized by the Olympic Committee anymore. This all sounds like bullshit.
That's because the Algerian and Taiwanese Olympic Committee have refused the IBA to release these results. I mean, the requirement was have XX chromosomes and they failed that. Therefore, let's use intuitive thinking here. Let's use our brains. We all have them. That means they have a Y chromosome. And if you have a Y chromosome, you are a male. I mean, do we need to send like half of the population
but you just
back to
admitted that there is no such test.
They took a chromosomal test, and they failed. The requirement was two XX chromosomes, and they failed. And they failed. Because of the Taiwanese and the Algerian Olympic Committee, they're not allowed to explicitly say these athletes have XY.
You know what?
Go watch the 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute, very brief
you're going to keep saying everyone's lying, but the answer is just do another test and show us. And there's a reason they're not doing it.
Okay. The Israeli Air Force launched strikes earlier tonight on Hezbollah targets within the towns of Yarun and Kfar Kela in southern Lebanon near the border with Israel. Damn.
Twist my point. You've been friends with Destiny for way too long. Even though I've disagreed with you on some issues, I always admire your honesty until today. And this is what happens when you are too emotional to understand the logical problem before you, Clint. The problem is a woman who supports men fighting women so much, she decided to enter the ring with a man. She lost. Publicly stated that she forfeited because her nose hurt, not because Khalif was a man. Then said, I hope Khalif makes it to the end and is happy. That is a progressive feminist who is advocating for men to fight women. And you said you were pulling your membership and your super chats from me for calling her out for supporting that. Your actions today send a signal that if progressive feminists support men fighting women, you will defend them if you're sad they got hit because of their own will. Okay, so be it. By all means.
Okay. How do you feel about Ayla's rape chart? The rape spectrum. Having sex with an unenthusiastic coworker. Or worker, sorry. What haven't we? Is this the same one from like a long time ago? I feel like we saw this a long time ago. You said shouldn't stealthing be higher? Sneakily removing a condom during sex. On a scale from 0 to 100, she puts it at 73, which is, she puts that as worse than, or the survey puts that as worse than uninterested. Reserved person gets very drunk on date. The other person is sober. They have sex. Having sex. Person A begins. Hello?
Wanted your opinion on something.
Sure, go. I got like 1 minute. What do you got?
Sure. So, what do you think of the idea of two really, really hot identical twins, women, having a lesbian relationship and fucking?
I don't care. What do you mean?
You don't think that'd be hot?
Oh, yeah, probably, sure, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty hot. Do you know of any porn videos like that?
No, I don't usually watch twin porn videos.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find any.
Oh, well, good luck finding them.
All right, well, take care, dude.
Have fun. Okay. Somebody said, do I feel like this should be higher? Do you mean like lower on the chart or higher on the number? Personally, I feel like sneakily removing a condom during sex, that, if anything, I would say this would get And even like this is a really, really, really bad thing to do, I think. This is one of the, I say, is it one of the worst? There's a lot of bad things you can do with the rape, with rape stuff. This is a really, really, really bad thing to do. It's bad, but is it sexual abuse? I don't know if I would consider this sexual abuse. I think I might just consider this full-on rape. If you're fucking somebody and you both have the understanding and it's pretty explicit that somebody's using a condom and then somebody reaches down and sneakily removes it during sex, I think I would just consider that full-on rape. That's a pretty egregious violation of what you're consenting to insofar as sexual activity goes. Woman lies about birth control then? I would consider that to be very close to the same level. It'd be slightly not as bad because it wouldn't affect like STDs and stuff, but I think that that's close. That wasn't your stance 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was pro stealthing? Sounds hard to believe, my friend. Didn't you get into a huge Twitter fight arguing the opposite of this a few years ago? What was the stealthing discourse about? I thought it was the opposite. The big disagreement that I had 2 years ago, the huge disagreement that I had 2 years ago was when I said that some person complained that they'd gotten, it sounded like they'd complained initially that they'd gotten stealthed like 3 or 4 times, so they didn't feel comfortable saying anything. And my thing was, if that's happening to you, you need to stop having casual sex. That was the huge fight. It's possible that I said maybe, I mean, I'm saying I consider this rape. Maybe back then I said, oh, that would be like heavy sexual assault or something. I don't know, maybe the class, but it's still a really, really bad thing. I'm pretty sure back then I would have said it's a really bad thing too, but. You said it was tantamount to rape, but it wasn't rape. Oh, okay, sure.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
Oh my God. I don't think this is real. How do they already have the video camera at his house? I bet this was staged.
The joy that you're bringing back to the country, the enthusiasm that's out there, it'll be a privilege to take this with you across the country.
Well, let me tell you, I have just the utmost respect for you. I have really enjoyed our work together. You understand our country. You have dedicated yourself to our country in so many different and beautiful ways. And we're going to do this. We're going to win. And we're going to unify our country. And
you know what a rule they should have? A law they should make? For no good reason, just to f with people and to f with the country. It should be an FEC regulation that when you go to run for president, the only possible way you are ever allowed legally to choose your vice president is you have to pick who you want, who you think would be a good VP, and you have to propose it to them in public. You have to get down on one knee. You have to open a box that says, will you be my VP? Just so we can have those moments. Not for any practical reason, but just because why the fuck not? It'd be funny. Straight guys with bi partners for Harris Walz. Why? This is a meme, right? Wait, what's happening here? Is this? I feel like this would be so fucking uncomfortable when you walk. Like it would like chafe and scrape against your ankles all the time. Or is there something? Is this like a style, or is there something else going on here?
I stand.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Oh my God, they got Joe Biden to come.
I stand before you today today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. And so now we got some work to do. We need to move to the general election and win that. I know Donald Trump's type. So, but let me just say. Let me say, hold on.
I will say, okay, it is a bit of a funny role reversal to go from Donald Trump running against Hillary Clinton, who is under investigation for emails, for him to be chanting, lock her up, for him to say that somebody under FBI investigation should never be even allowed to even run for office, to now we have the flip side of that of like a former DA and attorney general is running against a guy who's actually been convicted of 34 felonies and is potentially facing 300 court cases. That's a pretty funny role reversal.
This campaign, our campaign, is not just a fight against Donald Trump. Our campaign, this campaign, is a fight for the future. It's a fight for the future. In Pennsylvania, we fight for a future with affordable housing, affordable health care, affordable child care, paid leave.
Did you read The Road to Unfreedom by Timothy Snyder? Nope.
Fight for a future where we build a broad-based economy, where every American has the opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth. We fight for a future where we bring down prices that are still too high and lower the cost of living for America's families, so that they have a chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. We fight for a future where we defend our most fundamental freedoms. The freedom to vote. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body, not having her government tell her what to do. So, I love you too. So here's the thing.
That abortion thing is such a huge killer thing. It's just such a not good thing for Republicans, in my opinion. I've always been of the mindset. I've always said that like Democrats should just drop the assault weapon shit. I think it's unpopular. It doesn't even serve their interests much. And I always felt like Republicans should just drop the abortion shit. It's way too divisive of an issue. Like if you're a Christian, you don't want one, don't get it. But like why try to legislate this at the state level? I mean, like it's just such a bad optics. But I don't know.
Since the day that I announced my candidacy, I set out to find a partner who can help build this brighter future. A leader who will help unite our nation and move us forward. A fighter for the middle class. A patriot who believes, as I do, in the extraordinary promise of America. A promise.
One thing that I loved about Biden, and I guess he's too old, he can't carry the message or whatever, but Kamala is continuing. I love this. And I love, because the Republicans have pivoted to such a party of negativity and Democrats have capitalized on this, I love the positive American sentiment. One of my favorite things that Joe Biden would say over and over again is, what do you say? It's never a good decision to bet against America, or it's never a wise decision to bet against the American economy. I like that. That's good. True. We are awesome. Amen.
A promise of freedom, opportunity, and justice, not just for some, but for all.
Oh, yeah, we own the finish line. True. Is there any gun issue that is too far for a Democrat? I think focusing on like some type, there is some middle ground legislation that I feel like most Americans, I think polls decently, like some type of more extensive background check or whatever, or some type of red flag law thing, I think most people would probably be okay with. I feel like that must be the case. like even if it's temporary, like if somebody files a restraining order against you, maybe you've got like a 3-month hold before you can buy a firearm, right? So you're being deprived without due process a little bit, but I think there's a really compelling interest at the state. I think that would survive like any kind of like scrutiny. And I think these are things that like most Americans would say, like, okay, you've got a restraining order. Like, as surprising as it is, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because the online discourse is so fucked. But then also, this is a very small selection. Like, I've spoken to Republicans in real life who seem to be okay with red flag laws. There was at least one guy that I spoke to about it, but he had like a personal example of it, of like some guy that was abusive to his girlfriend. She left, got a restraining order. He went, bought a gun, and then killed both of them, like her, like murder-suicide the next day. So he's like, yeah, maybe red flag laws are okay. Red flag laws are basically laws where you can basically put a hold on somebody, from buying a firearm for some period of time, basically. Depending on how you structure these, I think that most people are okay. I think most people are okay with that type of thing, or a little bit of more of an extensive background check. I think people are okay with these things, but like the full on like banning assault weapons and all the crazy restrictions is just fucking dumb. Yeah.
So Pennsylvania, I'm here today because I found such a leader. Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
That's not what red flag laws are. Red flag laws are a way to restrict people from purchasing firearms without requiring like a criminal conviction. It's some way of like flagging somebody. What do you mean, red flag law? Red flag laws provides procedural safeguards to ensure that no firearm is removed without due process while helping to prevent tragedies like the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, and the racist mass shooting. Complete ERPO application, any other necessary documents, submit your documents to the respondent's local Supreme Court. That day, the judge will review and decide if an ERPO should be issued. If granted, police will immediately remove guns from the respondent and bar them from purchasing guns. Wait, you're banned. Email me if you want to get unbanned with something that contradicts what I just said. Fucking retard. Why banning assault rifles but keeping hunting and handguns is dumb. Assault rifles were always meant for the military to kill people. Why is that bad though? Leaving handguns and hunting rifles. All guns are killing people. That's what guns, it's kind of what guns do. But like, people just don't kill people that much with assault rifles. Who cares? It's just like such a low kill count every year. It's like 300 to 500 people. It's like a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. But there's so much political capital that's expended on assault weapons and rifles. It's just not worth it.
So, to those who know him best, Tim is more than a governor. To his wife.
He was probably commenting that you didn't include they remove already owned firearms as well. Oh, well, he should have said it without being less of a cunt. But yes, that is true too. If you're able to get a restriction on somebody purchasing new weapons or whatever, if they already have a weapon, then yes, you might be able to go in. These are all structured in different ways, but you might be able to go in and prevent them from getting it too. The point is that if somebody's throwing up red flags, you've got a way of preventing them from accessing firearms. Yeah.
When he is a husband, to his kids, Hope and Gus, he is a dad. To his fellow veterans, he is Sergeant Major Walz. To the people of southern Minnesota, for 12 years, he was congressman. To his former high school students, he was Mr. Walz. And to his former high school football players, he was...
Why is it such a common talking point? Are most viral shootings with rifles? I think that the most exceptional shootings are with rifles, and it's the scariest type of weapon, right? Like wasn't the Uvalde shooting with a rifle? The Vegas thing was with a rifle. Like the rifles are just like scary and they stand out in the big events. But in the overall grand scheme of like gun deaths in the United States, which I think aggressively or offensively, they're around 20,000, I think, firearm murders a year. And then it's another 40,000 suicides, I think. But yeah.
Coach. And in 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States. So America, for some folks, they're just getting to know Coach Walz's story. And I'll tell you, he is the proud product of a middle-class family in rural Nebraska. He is a veteran who served our nation in uniform for more than 2 decades.
Wait, where in Nebraska?
As a member of the Army National Guard, and he went to college on the GI Bill. He is someone who, long before he entered politics, worked as a teacher.
Oh, yeah, Westmont, that's right.
When Coach Walz and his wife Gwen moved from his native Nebraska to Minnesota nearly 30 years ago, they both took jobs at the local high school.
The Vegas guy used 24 different guns, including 14 rounds going to the wiki. Yeah, that guy was fucking decked out. That dude was like John Wick. I'm pretty sure he loaded a whole bunch of rifles. He had them like all set out on the windowsills. And then when it was like go time, it was like opening the windows, like unloaded all from one rifle, put it down, picked up the next, unloaded all. That guy was wild. And we never learned anything else about that. That was wild too. What the fuck? What happened with that guy? Why did he do it? Jesus.
Walz taught social studies, Gwen taught English.
Isn't he still alive? No way, I thought he killed himself. No?
After school, Tim was the linebackers coach for the football team. Where I've heard the stories about he had a knack for using the game of football to teach life lessons. He saw the potential in kids who sometimes didn't even see.
How did he carry that many duffel bags full of guns to the top of the hotel? That's a good question, actually. I'm adding that. Vegas shooting story. Because he had a lot of shit. Wikipedia Vegas shooter. That dude was just... This is wild. He fired off more than 1,000 rounds, killed 60 people, wounded at least 413 others. According to his girlfriend, Paddock repeatedly cased Las Vegas Village from different windows. In their room, when they stayed at the Mandalay Bay a month before the shooting, Paddock also may have considered attacking previous events. He had researched large-scale venues. Let's see. Paddock's internet search terms for mid-September included SWAT weapons, ballistics chart 308, SWAT Las Vegas, and do police use explosives? Paddock arrived at Mandalay Bay on September 25th, and booked into room 32-135, a complimentary room on the 32nd floor. 4 days later, he also checked into the directly connected room 32-134. Both suites overlook the site at the concert at Las Vegas Village. During his stay at Mandalay Bay, Paddock spent much of his time gambling, usually at night. He interacted with employees more than 10 times, including twice on the day of the shooting. All the interactions were normal in nature. With help from the hotel bellman, he brought 5 suitcases to his room on September 25th, 7 on the 26th, 2 on the 28th, 6 on the 30th, and 2 on October 1st. On September 30th, he placed do not disturb signs on the doors of both rooms. Oh no. It was literally...
Whoa, no heavy lifting. I got it.
No, it's okay.
I got it.
No.
Jesus. What do you got in there? Cinder blocks?
$500,000 in cash.
That's the spirit.
Surveillance images show Stephen Paddock calmly checking in at the Mandalay Bay's VIP desk. It's Monday, September 25th, nearly a week before the shooting. After eating alone at a sushi restaurant, Paddock drives his car to valet, where a bellman unloads 5 suitcases. Police say Paddock stays with the luggage and asks to use the service elevators instead of guest elevators, a request that's not uncommon. Later that night, he leaves the hotel with 2 suitcases, driving an hour to his home in Mesquite. It's a routine that repeats itself. Tuesday, Paddock returns to Mandalay Bay, where a different bellman helps him move 7 more suitcases. Thursday, he brings a white container and 3 more bags, and over the weekend, 2 more trips home. In all, at least 21 suitcases plus smaller bags are brought to his 32nd floor suite, as Paddock gradually amasses 23 guns and thousands of rounds of ammo.
Undiscovered killers who are planning things.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Go about their preparation in a pretty mundane, routine fashion.
Between the trips home, he's seen playing video poker and chatting with employees. The video was released by MGM Resorts, which says Stephen Paddock gave no indication of what he planned to do, and his interactions with staff and overall behavior were all normal. The final image shows Paddock walking off an elevator Sunday, nearly 10 hours before the massacre. What the footage doesn't explain is why he did it. Joe Fryer, NBC News.
24 firearms, a large quantity of ammunition, and numerous high-capacity magazines capable of holding up to 100 rounds apiece were found in the suite. 14 of the firearms were 223 Remington. How much weaker these fuck me. These can be loaded into rifles that can fire 5.56, right? But the velocity is a lot slower. Am I correct on that? Why would you use this over just 5.56 rounds? Or is 223 the same? Is it the exact same thing? Hold on. Now people, I can't ask. I should never ask. I should never ask chat questions about anything. My bad. Okay. Interesting. All right. People are saying they're the same. I'm pretty sure you can fire, I think you can fire a 223 from most weapons that are chambered in 5.56, but I don't think you can slot a 5.56 round into a 223 and fire because the pressure is higher. I think you can blow the rifle up. But if you want to do that because you're typing in chat and you think they're both the exact same, knock yourself out. I don't give a fuck. 3 manufactured by Colt, blah, 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 chambered on, and the others were 308. The AR-10 rifles were equipped with various telescopic sights and mounted on bipods. He was found to have fired a total of 1,058 rounds from 15 of the firearms. And he killed himself with a Smith & Wesson. Jesus. In the months preceding the shooting, he had attempted to purchase tracer ammunition. Why? Is there an advantage to this, or does it just look cooler? Jesus. How many did he kill? Like 50 or 60, I guess? Feedback? Maybe at really far ranges, maybe the feedback is important. I feel like you would figure out the room that you would rent ahead of time, and then you would just measure the distance between the room and your target, and then you would just go to a range, like do an outdoor range like a week or 2 weeks before and make sure everything is zeroed at the ranges you plan to be shooting at, because you should know where you're going to be, right? And then you would have it all set up ahead of time. I don't know if he did that or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Who knows? But maybe regardless, maybe you still actually want like the visual feedback, especially because depending on how far you're shooting from, it might be some time before the bullet even lands, so you can't tell where it's even going. Maybe? I don't know. Who knows? I've never done a mass shooting before.
Into existence Governor Walz for vice president.
These are weird people on the other side. They want to take books away. They want to be in your exam room. I've got a 23-year-old who told me TikTok is on fire. Go ahead and continue to denigrate people. Go ahead. My God, they went after cat people. Good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them.
Oh no. You know who this guy reminds me of? I haven't like watched any videos of him. You know who this reminds me of? Who can get it in chat? Me, I just got the biggest fucking vibes. I'll give you 10 seconds. Oh my God. You know who I just got huge vibes of? Do you remember when I debated that crazy fucking lady and she brought on that one like Dan Blitzerian type guy, Tony? And I thought it was going to be like a 2v1. And Tony was just like this like aggressively normal guy. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like you're being a little bit weird. You're kind of being crazy or whatever. That's what he reminds me of. He's like, why are you shitting on cat people? What's up? What do you want?
Just a heads up, your guest got there a bit early, so he's in the lobby right now.
Wow, that sounds like a problem for him. Do you know if Dan's here? Or?
I have no idea.
Okay. I'll message him and check.
Okay. I have fun tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to leave.
good luck with that. Turn on the internet and see what cat people do when you go after them. Don't with cats. It'd be funny if it wasn't so sad. They see the least fortunate among us as scapegoats and punchlines for them. Kamala Harris and Democrats see them as our neighbor. You know, get sugarcoating this. These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Told them that they shouldn't talk about race.
Like, how did this flip so much? Because remember, this was the issue that Hillary ran into before, right? When she called them all deplorables. And somehow the narrative like 180'd on conservatives here because they were just so negative. But I think also, I feel like it plays a little bit into, Trump could run on Make America Great Again the first time because people were unhappy. But how do you run on Make America Great Again after you've already had the presidency for 4 years? Maybe that's why it went more negative, because it doesn't really make sense. You have to be negative at that point to explain why you failed, like every populist has to be. Like, why did I fail? And then you have to blame other people, and it gets really ugly and gross.
These are weird ideas. Listen to them speak. Listen how they talk about things. Told them that they shouldn't talk about race. They can't help it. It is built into their DNA because there is no plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's no healthcare plan. There's nothing to do on this.
Deplorables was a bad word. Weird just hits. Well, it's not so much the fact that it's not the word choice. It's that when you call people a name, like a deplorable or whatever, you're implying the person is bad because of who they are. But I think when he's calling people weird here, you're implying that they're bad because of how they're acting. I think it's a difference.
Want to take away our alliances and leave Russia to do whatever they want. The minute they all step on the stage, the American people have lost. Are they going to debate who can ban the most books? The same old failed policies. Instead of putting out a memo like that, tell us what your health care plan is. Donald Trump told us he would do that on day one back in 2017. There's nothing there.
But you've legalized recreational marijuana, you passed universal background checks on guns, you expanded LGBTQ protections, you implemented tuition-free college for low-income Minnesotans. There's free breakfast and lunch for school kids.
What a monster kids are eating and having full bellies. So
oh yeah, wasn't there like an attack ad that said that or something? I feel like I saw that in a Republican attack ad. Was that a meme? Was that not true? Where they had listed a bunch of shit that he'd done? And I was like, wait, I don't know if this is an attack ad or if this is like a supporting political ad. I can't tell whose side this is even on. Like, I think I've seen a couple of those, but one was like really weird because I think it included that lunches for kids. And I'm like, why the fuck would you put this in an attack ad? Unless I'm making this up. I might have been Twitter brain on that. I'm not sure.
So they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. To think that any way this is normal. You got a former president that thinks calling names and spreading lies is the way to get people. They're continuing to shrink the electorate on their side. Their ceiling and their floor are the same, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So I'm just excited. What I know is that people like J.D. Vance know nothing about small town America. My town had 400 people in it. 24 kids in my graduating class, 12 were cousins, and he gets it all wrong. It's not about hate. It's not about collapsing in. The golden rule there is mind your own damn business. Donald Trump talked about infrastructure. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris built bridges, built roads. So look, they are bad on foreign policy. They are bad on the environment. They certainly have no health care plan. And they keep talking about the middle class that, as I said, a robber baron real estate guy and a venture capitalist trying to tell us they understand who we are. They don't know.
Bays, that's a Destiny viewer right there. Good job. Yes, you can take my talking points.
Who we are. That angst that J.D. Vance talks about in Hillbilly Elegy, none of my hillbilly cousins went to Yale, and none of them went on to be venture capitalists or whatever. The situation in Gaza is intolerable. And I think trying to find a solution, a lasting 2-state solution, certainly the president's move towards humanitarian aid and asking us to get to a ceasefire, that's what they're asking to be heard, and that's what they should be doing.
Okay. I think for Biden, it would be him stepping down is probably one of the craziest. I'm trying not to ride too hard, but I don't think people realize how hard it is to step down from power. I'm pretty sure it was one of the most pivotal moments in U.S. history is when Washington stepped down and there was a peaceful transfer of power. You had a military dude, general, really prestigious. Everybody looked up to him. And this is like your first big test of like the American system. Like, is he really this general guy? He's really going to give up power and step back from the presidency? And he did. It was a really big deal. I think that Biden not just saying, fuck you, I don't give a fuck. We got this megalomaniac on the other side who's going to destroy the Republican Party. I can't just run again for my second term. Him, especially after you told me not to run last time. Like, I could definitely see him holding on to that no matter what. And him stepping down, I think in the future, I think that'll be looked at as a pretty important, monumentous decision. I'd be curious, just what were your feelings and thoughts on that? He was getting pushed hardcore by his party. Nobody had faith in him. Yeah, but like, now that I have like so many podcasts on shows and shit, I'm losing track of where I say shit. I don't know if I've said this on the stream before or if this is personal on another show. It says something about the Democratic Party that process happened the way that it did. In the Republican Party, it wouldn't be possible for that to happen. In the Democratic Party, from what I've seen, what probably happened was people spoke with him privately about stepping down. Seems like he probably wasn't into it. He was a fucking president. And then when that didn't work, I think people started to leak conversations to the press, to apply external pressure as well to get him to step down. And eventually, with enough external pressure from figures that he respected and internal pressure, I'm sure they were talking to him as well, eventually he stepped down. This works because Biden is a Democrat who is interested in the health of his party and in the future of his party in the country. That's the only reason that works. In the Republican Party right now, you cannot apply private or public pressure to Donald Trump. You will be destroyed. You'll be crushed. You can't do that. That's why when you get leaks from like Dominion and Fox, the stresses there are, fuck, like what can we lie about to like make Trump like us? Like, fuck, what are we going to lie about? Like, how are we going to sell this lie? Are our viewers going to believe us when we lie like this? We have to have Donald Trump to, like, there is no such thing as like these these Republican senators were talking shit about Trump to try to get him to step. Like nobody does that because you're destroyed. You'll be annihilated. And Trump reminds you of it every single speech he gives. I helped these guys get elected. They're not going to win their midterms. I helped these guys elected. You guys are schmucks. You're not going to win your next election. You think you're going to be governor again without me? I didn't hear Biden ever say anything like that. We're not going to help you campaign for anything. So even the idea that type of pressure scheme like kind of was planned and worked, I think is like, I think it says a lot. I think it's good for the Democratic Party. What if you had Trump under 100% accurate Kill Bill truth serum? What would the one question be? I would ask him why he wants to be president. Do you have any thoughts on Harris picking Tim Walz as her running mate? I was really hoping for Mark Kelly. So between Kelly, Walz, and Shapiro, I'm going to be honest, I haven't done much reading. Just from the very, 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 like, bouncing off of the news cycle and reading, like, just headlines and tweets and sentiments or whatever, it seems to me like the Democrats had a good problem and that there were a lot of viable VPs to pick from that a lot of people liked in different ways, that whether it was any of those three or even anybody outside of that like the Democrats seem to have like an abundance of like, yeah, sure, this, yeah. As opposed to the Republicans where, holy fuck, Vance doesn't seem to have been a good pick so far. I don't even know who the fuck a good pick would have been. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling about it, but. Do you think that Trump will run again when he loses? I have no idea. If you would have asked me 4 years ago, I don't know what I said back then, but I feel like if you go and find a VOD, I wonder if I would have said, I don't think Trump would run again in 4 years. It wouldn't surprise me if I said that. I don't think I would have thought he would have run again in 4 years. This is pretty old. But I don't know. I'd be surprised if he runs in 4 more years, but I'm surprised he's running this year, so who knows, yeah. Who would actually be a good vice president pick for the Republicans? The problem is that you don't have the Republicans. It's the party of Trump now. So you're in a really weird space. Before, when Trump ran in 2016, you still had a Republican Party. So Trump was a very unconventional pick, but he could shore up his base, his evangelicals and his traditional conservatives with Pence. It made sense. I think that ticket, in my mind, that ticket made sense, I think. But now you don't really have a conservative party anymore. So when you talk about like, well, who does Trump need to pick as a vice president? Honest to God, you honestly want to know, can anybody guess who I think? I'm going to give you a very unpolitically informed take. You know who would have been the best pick for Trump's VP? Oh, somebody in chat half said it. Oh, no, yeah, okay, yeah. Somebody said mini Trump. True, he should have just chosen Donald Trump Jr. He should have just chosen Trump Jr. He should have chosen his son, one of his sons. I think that probably would have, honest to God, I think that probably would have been the best choice. They do politics pretty similarly. They're like shameless. They've got the family name. Conservatives won an emperor dynasty anyway. Like, yeah, I think they should have done that. You'd feel good about like Trump is getting old and aging out, but his son's right here to take up the reins. Yeah. You don't think that Vivek fits the mini Trump role better? I feel like that's really hard for me to evaluate. I feel like Vivek comes off as a brown noser. No racial slur intended there. I don't know if conservatives view it in that way. He was like kind of popular from among the Trumples, but why would you ever choose Vivek over Trump ever? You never would. But like, would he be a substitution for Trump? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think he would be, actually. Remember the issue you have with Trump. The biggest selling point to Trump, 51% of Trump's success, okay? And historians will write about this. And you will source me. Remember to source my stream in the history books, okay? If you guys are watching this in the future, school kids, okay? I was the most informed political commentator in the entire world, okay? Fuck whatever else is in these chapters, okay? Donald Trump's success is majorly due to his charisma and his stage presence. That is like the 51% selling point on Trump. People remember him from The Apprentice. He was, his character on The Apprentice, he's like the archetypical, like, United States, like, masculine male role model figure. Like, he's tough, but he's fair, and he's, you know, like, he's got a lot of showmanship and bravado. You've got like the gaudy red tie on the suits, but it works because he's so successful. And he's so like, he's got his buildings and his businesses, and he's got like his, you know, his family, and like Trump just has, and he carries himself so well on stage, and he's funny, he's personable, he tells jokes, he gives people bad nicknames. Like, this is the majority of Trump's success is there. So when people look to compare people to Trump, they look at people like Vivek. Vivek hits all the populist talking points. 100% he does. Absolutely. But Vivek's stage presence, it's not even close to Trump. He's got such good stage presence. He's so good at it. And he speaks like the language of like retard, like perfectly for all of his like fans to slip. He's just so good at it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody that's even remotely comparable. Obama had really good stage presence. Bernie Sanders has, in my opinion, Bernie has very good stage presence as well. Bernie has exceptional stage presence, I think. Watching him work a general crowd, if he would have been the nominee, I don't think he could have made it because his policies are too extreme, but that would have been so interesting. Seeing like Bernie Sanders in a debate against Trump would be amazing, would be awesome, I think. Actually, the more I think about it, I feel like Bernie probably has the best stage presence. Obama's was really good, maybe, yeah. George Bush was nice. Bill Clinton, I think, was pretty nice. Reagan was very good. Yeah. MLK was really good, but not necessarily a politician. Bernie's stage presence does not beat Obama. Probably not, maybe. I feel like Obama has one of those things too where, how do you describe it when you have like you've got like a guy or a girl who's like very conventionally attractive, but there's like one off thing about them. It's either like a mole or a scar or something asymmetrical, but for some reason it just like makes them even more attractive. I feel like Obama was kind of like that, and that obviously he spoke very well. He was like eloquent. You know, he had like the content and everything was good, but he had like a very unique, like he has a very, what would you call it? Unique diction? No. Accent? No. But he had a very unique style of speaking. Like anybody, cadence. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, he has a very Obama cadence, and that probably helped too. Like his speaking style definitely sticks out in your mind a lot. Yeah. Pelosi is scary good at what she does, and I don't think we would have gotten Harris without her. Maybe. I hope Pelosi has like some fucking underling that she's trained up. Pelosi is, Pelosi is an actual fucking monster in the House in terms of her being able to whip votes, in terms of being able to get legislation passed, in terms of her being a monster fucking fundraiser. I hope that AOC has a bright future in the party. I feel like she's grown so much in the past few years from like in a very short amount of time. It feels like she's matured a ton and her political messaging is like on point, and her meme game, her stage presence, her background, her like her intersectionality, being like a fucking like a brown woman from I don't know if she's from the Bronx or whatever. She's from New York, right? Just she has a lot going for her. And then as much as she's like learned to navigate the congressional environment and then integrated that into her social media. What did she she speaks well too. Yeah. What did she tweet? It was a good ass tweet. It was a good tweet this morning. Can I find this? This was really weird. The way that he's sitting here, I don't know what this is. I saw this. I was going to comment on this before, and I wasn't sure if there's just some manly thing I'm missing. Oh, Dems in disconcerting levels of array. True. That's a good ass tweet. That's a good tweet. I feel like I've actually never heard a woman complain of manspreading. I have heard of anti-SJWs complaining about women complaining about manspreading, but I don't think I've ever seen an actual person complaining about it. I don't think I've ever seen it happen. But if I was a person and I was like on planes or on trains and there were people sitting next to me like this, I think I would lose my fucking mind. I think I would actually lose my mind. I would go apeshit. And by go apeshit, I mean I would sit there in silence, stewing, while imagining all the horrible things I would say to this guy. And then my pulse would increase, and then I would tweet out about how I owned some guy on a plane, but I didn't actually say anything to him at all. And then I would bump him leaving the plane, and I would apologize, and then crawl off on all fours. Jesus Christ, though. Does he have eyeliner? I really can't tell. I feel like the obvious answer has to be no. Like, why would you? Why? But, like, these are some strong under eye things here. If he has eyeliner, there's got to be a close-up video that very clearly demonstrates it, right? But why? Why would you put eyeliner on? Are you trying to look like a vampire or a wolf? Why was this tweet funny? Oh, because Democrats and liberals on the left are always are massively in disarray. We're always fighting each other and killing each other and hating each other and like the left and certain like the progressive. So it's just funny. Disconcerting levels of array instead of disarray. It's good. Isn't makeup normal for TV? Not eyeliner. No? Sorry. When makeup for TV is typically going to be, it'll be stuff to cover blemishes. It'll be powder to make it so you don't look shiny on camera. And it'll be maybe a little bit of hairspray to like hold your hair together. That's going to be like your standard like interview makeup stuff. Yeah, but it's not going to be like eyeliner for men. That's not going to be the standard at all. But maybe he does personally, or maybe something. I'm not sure. Eyeliner too. Eyeliner is absolutely not the norm for men going on to media appearances. I don't think so. Or at the very least, I've never in my life heard that before or seen that. It's an Indian thing? Is he Indian? Have you noticed how sweaty Trump gets before speeches? Is this a new thing? I imagine everybody probably gets pretty sweaty up there, right? This is how you reclaim a space on a train/airplane. I already know what you're linking. And we've already watched this on stream like 100 times. And now we're going to watch it 101 times.
What's up, Facebook? So I'm in a bathroom right now in an airplane.
Apparently on Aiden's stream with Trump was talking about immigration and genuinely believes asylum seekers are people that escaped mental asylums. Apparently he doesn't know the word has two meanings. No shot. Wait, what? Link me a clip.
And I have a guy sitting next to me that thinks he owns the armrest.
We listened yesterday to where he mentioned about how like some country, I forget who, it wasn't Venezuela, somebody like opened their mental asylums and let all their crazy people into the United States. But there's no way that he thinks that like claiming asylum is the same as people who have escaped from insane asylums, right? Right? That's why he talks about Hannibal Lecter? No, wait, hold on. Is that what you guys keep saying Hannibal Lecter means? Hold on. Why'd you change the aspect ratio on your YouTube uploads? I don't think that happened.
For the world, they're emptying out their jails into the United States. They're emptying out their mental institutions into the United States, our beautiful country. And now the prison populations all over the world are down. They don't want to report that. The mental institution population is down because they're taking people from insane asylums and from mental institution. You know what the difference is, right? An insane asylum is a mental institution on steroids.
Okay, he must have heard this is like a new talking point, but I don't think he thinks that asylum seekers are from mental asylums, right? This is just probably the new talking point, the new marching orders that like, now we're going to say crazy people are coming to the U.S.
Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen The Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the
He didn't write that. I don't think he wrote that.
last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. Is this poor doctor walked by? I'm about to have a friend for dinner. But Hannibal Lecter.
It's the last line in the movie. I'm aware. Yes, thank you. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, and he hangs up the phone. Yes. I don't think Trump wrote that, though. I think somebody else wrote it for him.
Congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. We have people that are being released into our country that
Listen to the audio flubs on this, guys. He talks about this in every rally. Really?
we don't want in our country. And they're coming in totally unchecked, totally unvetted, and we can't let this happen. They're destroying our country, and we're sitting back. And we better damn well win this election, because if we don't, our country is going to be doomed.
I, too, am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American.
Why? He looks like an evil comic book character. He looks like he's the guy if you were to write a comic book about 11 and 12-year-olds, he looks like he would be the evil middle schooler in 8th grade who's like bullying the kids. He's like the Mandark. That's just like, I don't know why. It's just like the vibe I get when I look at him. He just has that aura. He has that aura. A 14-year-old that bullies 12 and 11-year-olds.
Articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great.
Ann Coulter, that joke is like 10 years old. It's okay. Obama's not president anymore. You're fine. You can be racist again. It's all good. Trump made it cool again.
Opening segment, lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president, but I still would not have voted for you.
Oh my God, you're fucking right. Hold on. Follow me here. Okay, I was gonna say this, okay? A little, right? Are we seeing it? Am I crazy? I don't know why. I get the vibe. I get the vibe. And you know what? You know how I know I'm right, even though you fuckers are spam question marking me? You know I'm right? Because I Googled, I wonder, has anybody made like an Indian Jimmy Neutron? I wonder if anybody's like made that to see what it would look like. And you know what? When I Googled it, look who comes up. Fuck you guys, okay? Fuck you guys. He's right there. Number 4, okay? So I don't need to pull today because Google agrees with me. Wait, what is this? Hold on, we didn't finish this.
More than most other candidates.
Wow, Illuminate, thanks for the 5
when
good
you're
subs.
running for president, but I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Wait, why did she curve from a racist dog whistle just to be outwardly racist? Wait, what was the purpose of the beginning of this? Like, hello. I was going to make a joke that you smell bad, but obviously I can't do that because that would be politically incorrect. And I just want to say, I would never call you Vivek because in my household, we just call you Sand N-word. Like, what? What's the thought process here?
I, too, am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun. You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
I wonder what her full... God, I hate that I can see. I wonder if her full rationale was like, the reason why I wouldn't vote for an Indian is because I don't think that an Indian could necessarily win the general election. So I wouldn't have voted for you in the primaries because I don't think you could do it. I wonder if that's like her answer or some shit. Or if she's more racist than that.